Next chapter is Pittsburgh, and it is a doozy as far as collectibles. We're going to look at 51 different items, which the very first item is an artifact that's already in our possession. It's the hose that Bill gave us at the end of the last chapter during the cutscene. So we have that. Altogether, it's actually going to be 50 collectibles. One of the conversations... Oh, we also have this... Okay, I should mention this. This comic is not counted as one of the comics because you will get a trophy for picking up a comic in a few minutes here in the video as your first comic that you collect. But I did want to show that. So we'll call that number 51 of all the collectibles if you want. But it is not something that you need to count in your quantities as you're picking things up. So as they're figuring out how to get this door open, let me tell you the rundown. This part of the chapter of Pittsburgh is called Alone and Forsaken. And we'll go through those in a minute. But altogether, Pittsburgh has 17 artifacts, 3 Firefly pendants, 3 comics, 4 training manuals, 3 workbenches, 1 workbench tool, which we're about to collect in a second, 4 Shiv doors, a safe, and 14 optional conversations. And many of them deal with Ellie telling her jokes. So we will show them. And there is an additional conversation you need to overhear from Sam. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm incorrect. That is in the next chapter. Sorry. That's in the next chapter. Forget what I'm saying. Okay. So here we got an artifact. There is a new throwable weapon in here that we'll collect and get the recipe for crafting. This is...
Come on, let's get out of here.
One of our first optional conversations. I believe it is. Yeah, it's the first optional conversation. And here's your second workbench tool. I should probably mention that of all the collectibles, 95% of them, if you miss one, you can go after the game is over, go back through chapter select and pick them up. But the workbench tools, you have to get in order. And you have to get all 5 of them in one playthrough in order to get the trophy for it. I believe it is the sharpest tool in the shed or sharpest tool in the workbench. I don't know. Sharpest tool something. So make sure that you get all 5 of those. They are throughout the game. They start in Billstown and they go until, I want to say, the chapter before the lab. In here we have a map and a workbench. So let me give you the rundown for Alone and Forsaken. The first part, we have an artifact, optional conversation, workbench tool. Second artifact, training manual 2. Another artifact, workbench, which we are right here. Then we're going to leave this area. We're going to go into a bus. There's going to be a comic. 3 optional conversations. 2 artifacts. Firefly pendant, another optional conversation, 2 artifacts, 1 Shiv door, 1 artifact, 2 optional conversations, 1 Shiv door, 2 artifacts. That is all in this section. I probably could have counted these beforehand and given you the flat numbers, but I didn't do that. I apologize. But hopefully that's at least a little bit helpful. Of course, anytime you are in the menus of the game before you go into a chapter or after you've completed a section of a chapter, it will give you the rundown of how many collectibles there are in that section. It does break it up, for every section, and it doesn't give you a total for the whole chapter. But as long as you're matching the numbers, then you're doing good, Picking up another melee weapon here. I'm gonna probably try to craft that to get the second of 5 melee weapons you need to upgrade and use, and that will spark the very first part of Ellie's jokes.
By Will Livingston.
It is very important that you wait around
Let's keep going.
for these
What
jokes
did
to
the
start.
Confederate soldiers used to eat off of?
In the original game, this was a platinum killer. You know, they didn't have a lot of trophies, and all the trophies were either
Cups.
playing on certain difficulties
Cups.
and getting
I walked into
collectibles.
my
And this
sister's
collectible
room
was a
and
little
found a
less
booby trap.
obvious, and you definitely have to wait around
The book just fell on
for
my
it.
head.
And
Now
I
we
know
have
I'm
to
talking over some of the
explain.
jokes.
I said it wrong. Hold on, let me
I
read it.
I love how she
The book just
actually
fell on my head. I only have
flubs
my
that
shells
line
line.
and corrects herself. I don't know if that was in the script or if that was the voice actor
What is the leading
messing
cause
it
of
up,
divorce in
but I love how they
long-term
kept that in there,
marriages?
if it was. But yeah, this is very important that you you wait around in this section after you take care of, I think it's like 3 hunters will come through, take care of them, hang out. Do not jump over I believe it's like a bus or some kind of barrier to the next section, or you'll miss your chance. And we just dropped down. So if you're already here, you missed it. And
Strange seeing
it's not even worth getting the other few instances in this chapter and the next, because you won't get the trophy. You'll have to start all over again. As far as collectibles are concerned, I don't know if you can come back through chapter select and make sure to pick up the first of Ellie's jokes.
Most times they just held on to it.
You can certainly try if you miss the first
It
one.
happened all the time.
I'm not even sure if she pulls her joke book out if you miss the first one. So try to make sure that you wait around for that one. Would be a shame if you missed it. This area has a bunch of hunters. A lot of these areas, I take everybody out before I go through, wherever possible, because you don't need to see me fighting or stealthing around. But some instances it makes more sense to grab it as we're sneaking through or making our way through, whether we have to take everybody out in the process or not. But here, we clear the entire building that we were just outside of.
The edge of the universe.
And this is another situation where there's collectibles here, and there's also,
Savage
you also have to
Starlight.
wait around for Ellie.
That comic I've been reading? That's what the hero says after a big battle.
Endurance survived.
Yeah.
It's another good story through, something that they kind of work on throughout with her, with Ellie starting to read the comics and quoting from the comic books.
Oh, so you're a reader.
I think I talked over the first comic that we got, and I believe we got a trophy for it.
Yeah, I read all the time.
Savage Starlight fan, yep. And I'm just kind of biding my time here. There's a couple more collectibles in the area, but I don't want to walk too far away. So that is why this is taking so long. I'm basically showing you the amount of time you need to wait.
Some good old pun humor.
And here she goes.
Bakers trade bread recipes on a need-to-know basis. Need.
I get it.
A moon rock tastes better than an earthly rock because it's meatier. Oh man, that made me hungry. A backwards poet writes in verse.
Do you even get that?
Of course not. I used to be addicted to soap, but I'm clean now.
All right, I've actually never heard that one.
Okay, I'm all joked out.
So again, you will not get the second section of Ellie's jokes unless you clear out the bookstore beforehand and wait around for her to get bored enough to pull it out. I do have to say, I was going through and reviewing the collectibles for the Left Behind DLC, and you got to give it up to Riley. She really makes telling the jokes a lot more enjoyable than Joel does. She laughs. She laughs with Ellie. She sometimes figures the jokes out. She makes comments for every single one of them. It's just a lot more fun telling jokes to Riley than it is to Joel, Mr. Grumpus. So we got a couple artifacts there. So there was one down the steps. And there's one in here. That was the applicant checklist, the abandoned zone note. We already got the Shiv Door, which had the lost areas map.
That girl is so skinny.
So, I kind of went back and forth here a little bit before Ellie walked over to the fashion poster here for this optional conversation.
Why the hell not?
We want to make sure when you start this level, you kind of are facing towards the area you need to kind of bridge in between two fallen trailers to walk into the hotel. So it's easily missed if you don't backtrack. And as is the next section of jokes, if you're not waiting around for it.
Pirates.
The next collectible is a Shiv Door, which is to your right here. So if you go past this area and get that Shiv Door, you might miss your chance to hear these jokes. So I would backtrack, walk behind you when the scene starts after the cutscene, pick up some parts, some scraps,
Why did the Scarecrow get a promotion?
All right.
some crafting items,
Because he was
and
outstanding in his field.
get that optional conversation
That'll
right around
do.
for this.
Put that thing away.
That's it. That's all I got.
Now that we've got the two collectibles that are behind us, head past the taxi cab, and right over here, it's very hard to see. It's a Shiv Door that you wouldn't really guess would be a door that you're supposed to open. Most of the Shiv doors look like big metal doors, but with the X and the wood paneling on top of it, you would miss it. And there is an artifact right inside here.
With that kind of thing,
And the final
no one wins.
collectible of this section is on the lower level that Joel will be in by himself. Oh, I'm sorry, it's on the upper level. There's just a bunch of crafting items on the lower level. But yeah, we walk up here, walk across the kind of balcony area here. And there is a note on the counter next to a Shiv. So we're going to walk on over and enter the hotel.
But it was nice.
In this little hidden area here, there's an optional conversation that is very near and dear to my heart.
I really miss coffee.
Of all the things, though, I imagine you could probably make coffee. Whether or not it's imported and grown and dried and prepared, I guess is the question 20 years later, but I don't even want to think about a life without coffee. So next we're heading over here to get this collectible as we like to do. This will have the safe combination that is below us. 221056. And there's another section of Ellie's jokes coming up here that you could stand around where she is right now, and that's where she's going to tell us our jokes. But I do believe they aren't triggered until we actually open that safe. Or at least collect a few more items. So make sure you get all the rest of the collectibles. As I said, I waited around there for a good 5 to 10 minutes for her to tell the joke, and she never did. And she didn't tell it until I came back after opening the safe. So I'm here to tell you, it's safe to open the safe. Safe. Just pulling this out in case you want it for reference. Apparently it is the note to staff that makes Ellie tell the joke. But again, I had the note and I waited around for her for a long time and she never told it to me. So not until I opened up the safe did I get her to tell me. But inside is a training manual number 3, which helps you with shivs. Always good to get more kills out of those shivs. The durability increased. 50 parts. I called them scraps in the previous videos and probably earlier in this one, but I did look it up. It is parts. So as you can see, I brought the ladder over to the section behind Ellie. There's a couple more parts up there if you want them.
Some fog earlier.
And then come on over here to hear the rest of Ellie's jokes.
Do you know what's not right?
Left?
Yeah. That's awesome. What does a pirate say while eating sushi?
I don't know what.
Ahoy! Pass me some soy. I don't get it. People are making apocalypse jokes like there's no tomorrow. Too soon. All right, I'm done. For now.
And I believe that is the end of Ellie's jokes in Pittsburgh. For now, at least. We will... The next joke session is... It's only one, but it's really complicated. There's like 5 different steps. It's probably 4. 4 steps in order to make it happen. But we'll talk through that in the next video.
Oh, creepy.
So we've gone outside...
Guess they took the easy way out, huh?
Gone into another section, dealt with some dudes, walked, I think, back outside through another window to finally get into a bathroom inside another bathroom, I think. It was very complicated on how to get in there and find the proper bathtub to look at. But optional conversation there. Okay, so this is when Joel is by himself. This is with the area with the stalkers and the bloater. And this is before I turn on the power, obviously, in order to get through the door. This is one section I didn't really bother killing everything. I think it was like an ammo situation where I was like, you know what? Do I really want to waste all my ammo? But this is an artifact, but it is absolutely necessary for you to pick it up. You can't miss this one. Otherwise, you're never going to leave this area. You need that security card to get through the door. And here's us getting through the door. So, yeah, I didn't waste time. I don't even remember if I killed the bloater.
I gotta find Ellie.
The stalkers, they definitely changed how they looked from the original. They made them look exactly like they do in part 2, which I thought was kind of neat. A little continuity there. So you walk into this area. There's 3 doors to walk into. To your right is the workbench that we just walked into. Straight ahead is the next part of your path, and to the left, I think, is just some more things you can collect, like parts and crafting items. And here's another comic. This is after Ellie saves your butt, and she gets kind of annoyed at how you don't Don't thank her. You should. Come on, Joel. Be better. We did walk past a bathroom that has I think a Firefly pendant in it. We will return back to that. But out here in the open, blinking, easy enough to see, is the next training manual number 4. Gives you another hit for your melee weapons. And I went into the wrong bathroom, and I was getting kind of lost here. And then I realized, oh, this is the bathroom. I just walked right past it. Quickly, while we're picking up the Firefly pendant, I did want to mention, as far as the workbenches and upgrading weapons, you do not need to upgrade all your weapons. You don't need to play through the game twice. You only need to upgrade one weapon fully. As far as the amount of upgrades and the parts it costs, the most economical choice is the revolver. It's also a pretty decent handgun. But I went collecting crazy in this game, and I had probably a good 4 or 5 different weapons fully upgraded. And the first one that I upgraded was the 9mm pistol, just because it's the first one I got. And you can upgrade it fully with just the first 2 workbench tools. So I was happy with that.
Okay, then. Something on your mind, Ellie?
I wasn't trying to disobey you back there. You were taking a really long time, and I thought maybe he's gotten into trouble.
Look, it don't matter what you thought. I need you to listen to me.
I do. It's just that... Whatever, Joel.
I love that little harumph she does. The little walk off. She sits there. I'm so angry. So anyway, they make amends.
Okay.
And she finally gets her own guns. So obviously this is after we cleared out all of the hunters in the area.
Now the safety's on.
So we can roam free.
Switch it off.
So we'll gather up all the collectibles.
You gotta respect it. This is not.
Can't have this conversation until
Okay.
they are all gone, so she can come down. This is the financial district. This is the first collectible here in the financial district.
I guess not.
Then off in this, I think it's supposed to be like a coffee shop or something. Oh wait, no, maybe the coffee shop is the one that we just passed. Yeah, it looks like a diner or a coffee shop. Or a bakery. In the back room here. In the smaller room inside the back room, there is a piece of paper on the floor, or a little notepad on the floor. After you leave this area and you use a cart to jam through a gate, we'll pull down gate, use it to get over into this area, and use the workbench.
It's good having you on my side.
Then we're gonna head up in this building.
Okay.
Ellie's giving us a compliment. There's one more artifact before you drop down into the last part of this area. This is not the last area of Pittsburgh, but okay, so you see that sign there. There is it's an optional conversation that doesn't count. It's not actually collectible, and I missed it on my main account playthrough, and then I went back and realized that I wasn't missing anything. So, but I did want to get this out of the way. I wanted to show it off before I sent Ellie up the ladder.
Everyone has a family. Best not to dwell on it.
How can you not?
So as far as I can tell, that is not needed for the collectibles, for the optional conversations. But you may as well get it while you're here, you know? So you don't miss out on it. There is a artifact right here. There's also a Shiv Door in that building we were just in. We will return back to it, but I did want to head up here. This is where you can go. You don't have to go, but you can go up to this area. I certainly suggest you go up here. Not all the way up. Went too far. This is where I think there's like 2 or 3 guys up here, and they can kind of snipe you when you're trying to sneak around, or at least spot you. So in this, it looks like a little office area here. Back behind here, there is an artifact. Artifact number 43. The truck note. And then returning back to where the graffiti was, where the tank is, back into this building we already were. There's a Shiv Door inside this side area.
There you go.
So that's 2 artifacts and a Shiv Door. You want to make sure you do not miss before you head into where this military preparatory school or orphanage, whichever you prefer, is. And here's our first of 2 optional conversations right in this space.
Preparatory school.
Yeah, nice way of saying orphanage. I wonder what happened to all these kids.
Well, this place has been out for a good stretch. They ain't kids no more.
Meaning they're either hunters trying to kill us, or they're dead.
Or they got away.
But you don't believe that.
I believe in getting out of this city. Come on.
And right across from that gate leading to the military preparatory school is an old weathered billboard referencing a movie very, very much like Twilight, like the Twilight series. That's going to be our final optional conversation for this area.
I saw this before the outbreak.
You did? Is he totally gutted by the end?
Nobody gets gutted. It's a dumb teen movie.
Who dragged you to see it, though?
I don't know. Let's just stay focused, all right?
All right. Really?
Don't let your guard down, Joel. Don't want to start talking about your daughter. All right, so now we're entering into the final section. This is after the big escape from the armored vehicle and a bunch of hunters. We've met up with Henry and Sam, and as we travel down through the building where we first met them, they're going to bring us into a room here. We're going to get the training manual. Just grabbing a couple more crafting items. And head on down the steps.
We're right next to one of their lookout areas. It's just you and your daughter.
We're not related. Or my life.
I promise someone.
Once you go down a flight of stairs, right in front of you is your next Shiv Door. And inside the Shiv Door is your next comic. So those 3 collectibles are all pretty much one after another, and then there's only one left. Oh, I'm sorry, there's 2 collectibles left after After going through a few small hunter fights, and you're going to climb up an outdoor balcony here. It's like where there's some like HVAC machines and things like that. You're going to climb up there, walk across a plank into this new area. In the bathroom, there's a Firefly pendant. And then you're going to travel through the office area into the conference room here.
How old are you?
And in the corner on the floor is, I just walked past it, looking around for it, can't remember which corner, there it is. Okay. And that's the trial note, our final artifact in Pittsburgh. And then right after this area, you walk down and you go for the Lights Out trophy. Hope that helped. Take care.